For the first time, a Filipino is a John F. Kennedy Service Awardee for lending a helping hand to the Philippines' vulnerable youth. Roberto Ambet Yangco is a volunteer for the U.S. Peace Corps leading the Philippines Youth Program. Let's get to know the inspiring awardee right here on The Final Word. Ambet, thank you so much for joining us and congratulations on this prestigious award.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you for inviting me.
How does it feel to become the first Filipino recipient of this JFK Service Award?
It feels unreal. It's unbelievable. I didn't even expect it, but it's overwhelming.
And this JFK award is presented only once every 5 years to outstanding members of the volunteer community. And for it to be given to you at the iconic U.S. Peace Institute in Washington, D.C. must have been surreal. And you were there with your whole family.
Yes, it was real, and it was really, I never even dreamed of it in my wildest dream. I never imagined that it could happen. It was very special because my family, my two boys and my wife were there to witness it.
So when you received the news, how did you receive the news?
Well, when our chief executive officer sent me an email, I initially reacted as this is a scam because I didn't know that I was nominated.
Yeah.
So I have to double check. I have to look at the website. I have to look at the source of the email. And I have to double check with my country director where I work as a full-time staff here in Peace Corps Philippines.
But you know, Ambet, the journey to this point, receiving this JFK award, was not a bed of roses. It has been a challenging one for you since you were a little boy. You grew up in Olongapo City, scavenging for food and sleeping on sidewalks. At 11, you were taken in by a local Catholic non-government organization supporting abandoned and underprivileged children. Your inspiring story sounds like a perfect plot for a teleserye.
It sounds like it. Yeah, I have to give credit to the Daughters of Charity because they're the one who established the temporary shelter for street children when I was in Olongapo. And I'm a beneficiary of a lot of government projects, the National Project for Street Children. I was actually part of the first National Street Children Congress when it was in 1991. So I'm a delegate of Olongapo City. And I think that kind of catapulted me to my dream of becoming a social worker and led me to work with Peace Corps in the last 2 decades.
What are the challenges, Ambet, of being first a volunteer and then a social worker?
Well, I'm a full-time staff, so my job is to train, manage, and supervise Peace Corps volunteers who are coming here in the Philippines to serve for 2 years, 27 months to be exact. And as a social worker, I think has prepared me, being a social worker prepared me becoming the development worker that I am in supporting Peace Corps volunteers. The Peace Corps volunteers that I supervise are wide range in terms of age and professionals. I have fresh out of college American volunteers. I have volunteers, I supervise volunteers who have PhDs and in their retirable years. So it's a little bit challenging, but I think the biggest challenge is really to see the impact of the work that we do. And we don't expect it to see it in our lifetime, but we're lucky to actually see some of them, to see some young people become development workers, become people like Ambet, who used to be a beneficiary and become the one that who is giving it back in the community.
So we can see volunteers and social workers across the board, from students to college students to masteral students and PhDs. What is your advice for those who really want to be volunteers and social workers for good and noble causes, Ambet?
Well, I think I may sound cliche in terms of saying that you will sleep with a smile in your face, right? You feel good about yourself. But volunteering or social work in general is not easy. But do it because it is something that will remind our neighbors, our countrymen, the people around you that mankind is good. There's goodness in each of our hearts, and I think it's a reminder that in the middle of everything that's happening in this world, goodness will always have to be the one that people will be reminded of, and you
Right.
can easily be reminded of that through social work and through volunteering.
And Ambet, what are your current and future initiatives for the U.S. Peace Corps Philippines Youth Program?
For the Peace Corps, we're right now we evacuated our volunteers because of the pandemic. Peace Corps Philippines has been here in the Philippines for the last 61 years, and I'm managing the Children, Youth, and Family program specifically on youth development. So we're looking forward. We're excited. Peace Corps Philippines is getting ready for the volunteers to come back, hopefully in the coming months. And as we prepare for the return of our volunteers, we're going to place them in three different sectors: the environment, the education, and the youth development program. While the volunteers are not here, as you can see in some of the pictures, we, the Peace Corps staff, are the ones doing the youth development training, different activities, outreach for the most vulnerable. The youth development program is really focused on working closely with the Department of Social Welfare and Development to work with the most vulnerable population, and we work closely with the National Anti-Poverty Program, which is the Poor Peace. So we place volunteers to assist them in their youth development and family development sessions.
Ambet, we are indeed proud of your accomplishments and achievements. All the best to you and the U.S. Peace Corps Philippines Youth Program.
Thank you, Rico Ison. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
JFK Service Award recipient Ambet Yangco.